It's Tuesday, November 14, and this is NHL Rumors. Well, on the weekend, X, formerly Twitter, was ablaze with news that Patrick Kane was about to sign a 2-year deal with the Buffalo Sabres. You know, Kane had been looking to get a deal done by the end of November, and it suggested that certainly the Sabres are in the mix. It's his hometown, but also might be interested in going to a team that had a chance to win it all this year. It sounds like the offer from the Sabres might just be too good to turn down. If it's what they're saying, which is $4 million per year on a 2-year deal, that's a great deal for Kane, certainly coming off hip resurfacing surgery. A lot of the other teams were on a wait-and-see situation. I don't think they were going to offer nearly that much. And I think for Kane, this is probably the best deal he could get right now. So we'll see if that gets done. I expect we'll hear in the next couple of days that he's going to Buffalo, and that will take Kane out of the mix for sure. Looking at some other teams that have some players available, we're talking about the Calgary Flames first and foremost. Of course, the Flames are really struggling through a tough season. There's a lot of rumors that they're going to start a rebuild. Craig Conroy could be looking to make some big changes. They have a number of players who are going to be unrestricted free agents at the end of the year. Normally, they'd wait till the trade deadline to take advantage of that, but there may be opportunities right now for him to maximize his return. One of the situations that's available is possibly with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Of course, the Leafs looking to shore up their blue line. They've got some injury problems right now, and they've been using a third pairing of William Lagesson and Simon Benoit. That's certainly not going to get it done long term, so the Leafs have been trying to shore up the 5-6 side of their blue. And one of the players that's been discussed has been Nikita Zadorov. Zadorov, of course, last week requested a trade, and he's a guy that would fit quite nicely on that third pairing for Toronto and add some toughness, and he's got a big shot, so he could help there as well. But again, he's not going to be a big cost for Toronto, and they're probably going to be able to fit him in the cap with some small moves. So we'll see how that plays out. I think Zadorov is probably a very strong add to Toronto. The other defenseman that might be of interest to Toronto, of course, would be Chris Tanev, but he would cost more. And I believe Tanev's going to go to Vancouver, where he starred a couple of years ago alongside, of course, Quinn Hughes. Those guys were an outstanding combination, quite a good complement for each other, and I think would be a nice upgrade for the Canucks. The Canucks looking to really strengthen their blue. Their forward side is deep. The goaltending has been strong with Thatcher Demko this year and Casey DeSmith. So I think they're in pretty good shape. They just want to shore up that D a little bit. And Tanev, who they know well, would come in and add a lot. Of course, they'd have to give something, and they've got some prospects and draft picks. They can definitely do it, and that would be an interesting move for the Canucks. The other big player, of course, on the Flames that could be available is Noah Hanifin. Hanifin, of course, is going to be a much bigger cost to whoever does the deal. Hanifin would need to be re-upped, I think, in any deal that gets done. And a team that seems to be in the mix right now is the Arizona Coyotes. The Coyotes are kind of an interesting story this year. For the first time, they're actually getting aggressive, trying to get players and move up in the standings. They started that in the summer under Doug Armstrong, made a number of deals, bringing in the likes of Zucker and of course Kerfoot and others, and they definitely are a team on the rise. So defense is an area they want to shore up. They've got some good young defensemen, but could certainly use a defenseman of the pedigree of Hanifin. And the rumors persist that there is some discussion going on. If so, what would the Arizona Coyotes need to offer up in order to get the deal done? And would Hanifin agree to a long-term deal with Arizona? I think Hanifin would, and I think the deal can get done. Arizona's got several second-round draft picks coming up this year. In fact, 3 of them in 24. And they've got some outstanding prospects available. They've got Victor Soderstrom, a defenseman who's playing in the minors right now, who I think with some ice time could certainly help the Flames. I think there's some others. Would they get a guy like Dylan Guenther? I don't think so, but he's definitely a guy they would want to look at. There's also, of course, there's Connor Geekie and a couple of other guys that they could look at as well. So for sure, Doug Armstrong has the assets needed to get a deal done, and if Craig Conroy is looking to move Hanifin and wants prospects and draft picks, he could certainly get it done with the Arizona Coyotes. Looking at some other discussions around the league right now, of course, goaltending has been a problem for some of the teams. We've heard lots about Toronto and Edmonton. Apparently, Edmonton this week was close to getting a deal done for a goaltender that they thought might make a difference. A lot of folks postulating on where that deal might be or might happen. One of the rumors I'm hearing is that Jordan Binnington is the name that's being postured around, and of course, Binnington had been outstanding at different points with the Blues, and certainly when they won the Cup some years ago. He's not the same goaltender now, but still a solid add for the Oil, and I think that would make a lot of sense for them. We'll have to see how that plays out. Toronto, as I mentioned, looking to shore up their goaltending. Not much available out there. I've often wondered if a deal could be done with the Leafs and potentially the Columbus Blue Jackets. This might be a deal that could help the Leafs in a number of ways. If the Jackets would free up Elvis Merlikins, I think he would be a nice add to Toronto. And of course, they've been trying to move a defenseman for a while and have Andrew Peeke and Jesper Boquist and Jake Bean and Goodbranson and others available. So they could be a good trade partner, and we'll see if something maybe materializes there. The other team that might be looking for goaltending help, and I don't think they're at that point quite yet, is the Carolina Hurricanes. Of course, the words recently that Freddie Anderson might be out for a while leaves the Canes in a bit of a lurch. They are running with their top two right now, and that's Antti Ranta and Pyotr Kochetkov, and they have also Jaro Halak in camp on a tryout. Now, would they want to look at somebody else? There's rumors that might be possible. I think a guy like Alex Lyon with the Red Wings might be somebody of interest, or someone along those lines. Probably a third goaltender or second goaltender that doesn't play as much would be somebody the Canes would be interested. It'd have to be a low-cost deal, and of course would have to be somebody that after the return of Freddie that they can move or send down to the farm system. So definitely a possibility with the Canes looking at shoring up their goaltending, but we'll wait and see how that plays out. I don't think they're there quite yet. So lots of discussion going on. Some teams that are really struggling, looking to shore up. Of course, the Oil have struggled recently. The Flames looking like they're going to fall out of the mix. The Minnesota Wild recently making some moves, trading Kalen Addison to San Jose and picking up Zach Bogosian. So moves are starting to happen. Discussions are definitely happening around the league, and I expect we'll see more trades as we get closer to the holiday break. Once again, thanks for joining. As always, we'll keep you fully tuned in on all the latest rumors and all the deals right here on stormTRacker.